Indagirani, Wodnyandari. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is here. The man, the myth, the legend, the enigma, God's favorite, your mother's favorite, the greatest of all time, Anonymous Team. Now, what the fuck has Iam Marwa done again? Because the last time I remember, I was done with the Iam Marwa family. I was done with the Nyabohanse YouTube village. I was done with D. Mwango. I was done with David Jr. I was done. I wasn't going to react on these people anymore. Unajua. Because sasa, I came to realize that me, as a Kenyan YouTuber, reacting on Iam Marwa's videos and cutting through the bullshit made me look like a hater, unaona, and made me look as if I am against one of our own. You understand? Because most of all the people that react on Iam Marwa, they've kind of like made it their content. I am discussing Iam Marwa, hating on Iam Marwa is their content. But I tried to shift away from that. I chose to shift away from that shit. But you see, you can't go so far. Your past, one way or another, has to go out looking for you. And this is what Iam Marwa's bullshit has done. You remember that song that features Drake in it, where he says, I did not go out looking for your secrets. Your secrets came out looking for me. Mr. Iam Marwa, I did not go out looking for your stories. Your stories came out looking for me. But who am I to oblige? But who am I? Who am I? I had to oblige. So, if you've been living under a rock, this is what happened. Apparently, Iam Marwa did a video about a month ago where he was talking about betrayals in his life and people who've betrayed him. People who've stuck a knife on his back. Right? And he gave this list. And among the people who are on this list is an Italian guy, an Italian YouTuber, a former friend to Iam Marwa, and alleged former boyfriend to D. Mwango. And what's his name? Why do I forget his name? Nani? Fuck. Oh, shit. Fuck it. Okay, I'll put it on the description. I don't know why I forgot the name. So yes, among that list was that Italian guy, and also on that list was a guy called Ivain Tures. He's a Cameroonian living in the United States. Now, as you know, once Iam Marwa put out that video, of course, these guys had to react, right? And the first one to react was the Italian guy. Fuck, it's such a injustice, rather. It's such an injustice that I can't remember this motherfucker's name. Shit. Fuck. Yeah, such an injustice. Yeah. So, as far as I know, if this was a superhero movie, most people would regard Iam Marwa as the, superhero, and the Italian guy as the main supervillain. Unajua, in every movie where there's a main character and there's the bad guy, there's always the main bad guy and then there's the sub bad guy. So this Italian guy is mostly Iam Marwa's arch enemy, manze. Someone needs to make a movie about this whole YouTube drama. So yeah, so the Italian guy comes out, he makes a video of himself calling Iam Marwa a scammer. Now, he articulates himself pretty well. And mark you, this is not the first time these stories are coming out. This is not the first time these dramas are coming out. You understand? Like we've been as YouTubers, as commentary YouTubers, like myself, we've been discussing this story months in, months out, days in, days out, years ago, unaona, up until I grew tired of that bullshit. But now I have to do it again. So yeah, so he comes out, gives, you know, the story again, you know, because I'm pretty sure now there are new viewers who really don't understand the history of the people they've currently subscribed to and all that shit, right? So yeah, he articulates himself, and he discusses up to the point where they fell off. Unajua, there was actually one of the major stories as to why he and Iam Marwa fell off was that he used to complain about the food that Iam Marwa used to cook, right? And I discussed that. In a previous super previous video, right? And I said Iam Marwa's response to that was that if you're from another country and you and you go to a different country, you have to eat what that other country offers you, right? But for me, I was like, okay, Iam Marwa is not necessarily poor. You can't really offer a foreigner our staple food every day in, day out. This is a foreigner. This is a visitor. This actually, as Africans, we go all out for our visitors. This is your visitor. They've come to visit you. At least for the period that they're with you, just make those slight adjustments and give them, if not necessarily food from their, you know, country and shit like that, but like common food. No, there are common foods all around the world. Rice and meat is a common food all over, right? You know, it's not so difficult to, you know, to feed a foreigner for that short period, or rather, it's not difficult to feed your visitor for that short period of time that they're going to be with you. You understand? Yeah, so that was my opinion. I feel like they could have just prepared like common food that the visitor would have been comfortable with. And also understand this person is in a different country, different climate, and all of that shit. You might give them your staple food thinking, it's normal. We eat it, they can eat it. But it's different. People react differently. They can be allergic to some types of food, maybe at juice. So you can't. For me, I felt like Iam Marwa and family were wrong on that matter. And number two, the Italiano guy clarified that he never said that Iam Marwa's mother's cooking was trash. He just what he meant, what he rather confirmed was that, or is it confirmed or clarified? What he clarified was that Iam Marwa and family had hired an underage girl from Tanzania. We're in Kenya. So they had the girl from Tanzania. She never had papers. She never had documents. So it was illegal. Number one, it was illegal to hire. It's illegal to hire somebody without legal identification documents. Number one. Number two, and this is in a different country, right? Number two, it's also illegal to hire an underage person. So those are two crimes in one. So Iam Marwa, and just to confirm, I can actually see some truth in that. You know what the Italiano guy is saying? I can actually see some truth in it because of why? Most people in Kenya do that shit. Most housemaid in Kenyan families are actually underage girls from poor backgrounds in the village. So people actually think that they are doing something great, but they're actually doing an injustice, and they pay these children peanuts. And nobody really comes out to talk about this shit, right? Nobody comes out, or nobody has really ever come out to talk about this. So yeah, so the Italiano guys comes and okay, so he says that that girl was the one who used to cook the food, and she wasn't really good at cooking. She's an underage girl, right? And she wouldn't cook like food properly, and of course he'd fall sick. Up to that point, I kind of believe his story, and I'm walking on a really, really, really thin thread here because Iam Marwa is a fellow countryman, manze. Iam Marwa is a fellow countryman. That anyway, I have to I have to react and be partial, right? Or is it be by partial or whatever, man. English is not my first language, so yeah. So he talks about that, and the other major reason as to why they fell apart was Dimwango. So apparently we all knew the Italian guy as Dimwango's boyfriend, but actually it happens that they were never dating, never dated for shit. So Dimwango was actually just using him for clicks. He was just using him for he was just she me calling her he does not in any way whatsoever imply that she looks like a man. No. So yeah, so she was actually using him for clicks. She was actually using him for views, and it really never really worked out the way she wanted it. So basically they were acting for the camera, right? Yeah, basically they were acting for the camera. She claimed to the viewers, to the subscribers, that he was her boyfriend, when her Italian boyfriend. She actually used to call him her Italian boyfriend. So yeah, but they were never dating at all. So she'd have these videos where she'd do bikini, what do you call it, having my Italian boyfriend react to my, bikini haul or something. Yeah, but it never really worked out. So that was the other major reason as to why they fell apart, right? But in this reaction, he starts calling out Iam Marwa for being a scammer, right? So people would send Iam Marwa money. He'd like make videos and tell people of these projects that or rather these charity works that he's supposed to do, and then people would send out money for like there was like that girl whose family never had a house. She wanted to go to school. She didn't have money to go to school, and he was building this multi-million mansion, so of course everybody in the village knows this guy is rich. So she went out to him, um and he fundraised. He actually asked for funds from his funds. He actually asked for funds from his subscribers all over the world, and people used to send in a lot of money. And of course they did a good thing. They built a house for this family, they sent the young lady to school, and they even set up a business shop for this lady, which I actually think was a very, very noble job. However, the money that was contributed when YouTubers, because this is something that is being done online, and people are doing an audit. So people also used to send gifts for this family: duvets, beddings, bed sheets, blankets, mattresses, name it. So, but Iam Marwa would not give it entirely to this family. He'd also like when some of those gifts were sent to this family, he'd not necessarily give it to the family. He'd actually take it and say, "Oh, people have sent this for my mom." Yeah, I was actually following that story at that time. So yeah, that was weird at the time, but for me, I was like, a win is a win. These people haven't had a house; they now have a good house, and blah blah blah, right? So I was like, okay, whatever he is doing is bad, but let's look at the bigger picture. These people have a house now. The young lady just wanted to go to school, but not only did she go to school, she has her family have a good house, and her mother has a business, right? But yeah, but apparently it seems that you know Iam Marwa wasn't Iam Marwa kind of like went along with the completing the house and opening a business for this family, because there was a lot of audit from there. There was a lot of audit from people like me from the online community. So he had to do it to save face. So I can't really speak on that because I really don't know whether the Italian guy over exaggerated some things on his comeback to Iam Marwa and that shit, right? But yeah, so there's been a lot of talk of Iam Marwa scamming people. So I don't know how true that is. I do know that when people used to send some gifts and even some money to help with the building of that girl's house, yeah, there was a few what do you call it, embezzlement. There was a slight embezzlement of funds here and there, and it is what it is. What matters is the girl and her family got more than they bargained for. So we go back to Ivain Tures. Ivain Tures also. Before we even go to Ivain Tures, the Italian guy actually says, if you all know David Jr., for those who know David Jr., you know that initially he used to have dreadlocks. For those who do not know who the fuck David Jr. is, David Jr. is the youngest sibling to Iam Marwa and D. Mwango. So he used to have dreadlocks. And at some point in his life, he cut off the dreadlocks. So when the Italian guy asked him, why did you cut off your dreadlocks? The David Jr. tells him it's because he's in the university and the university policy states that he shouldn't have dreadlocks. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a university is not a secondary school or a high school or a primary school, right? So they don't have such bullshit laws. But then again, I've never been to more universities, so I don't know. Maybe they do have such bullshit laws, right? But it so happens that the Italian guy said, yeah, that was not the truth. And the truth is, David Jr. had a disagreement with the sister D, and he attempted to stab her. And when he attempted to stab her, the father called cops, and the cops arrested David Jr., where he stayed there for like a month or something, and he had to cut his dreadlocks. Yeah, I'm not really buying that story by the Italian guy. You see, now this is where I become, is it partial or non-partial? Or bipartial? What? You see? So yeah, so for me, I'm really not buying that story from the Italian guy, because unfortunately, I've been arrested too before. Years back. It's common among the Kenyan youth. All Kenyan male youth have to be arrested. If you've never been arrested as a Kenyan male youth, then I don't know. You've probably not been living in Kenya. So yeah, and they don't have you, as long as you're just going to jail, they don't have you cut off your hair. They don't have you cut off your dreadlocks if you have dreadlocks. So that story doesn't add up. Number two, about David Jr. wanting to stab D, I highly doubt it. D and David Jr. come from the same father. Iam Marwa, the older brother, he is the one who comes from a totally different father. And actually, the reason he wears his sunglasses is because he has one eye that cannot see. He got into a fight with a child when he was a kid. The kid hit him with a slingshot. Hit him with a slingshot on one of his eyes, and the stepfather, who's D. Mwango's and David Jr.'s father, refused to take young Iam Marwa to the hospital at that time, because the mother was actually not at home. The mother was away. The mother was away. The mother was away training to be a teacher. So Iam Marwa's stepfather, who's D. Mwango's and David Jr.'s biological father, refused to take young Iam Marwa to the hospital, and that's how he lost an eye on one of his side, and that's the reason why he wears sunglasses. Yeah, to prevent a lot of light from getting to that eye. Apparently, nini. But he has money now. He can he can like do some surgery or something to prevent the pain whenever he's like you know, whenever he doesn't necessarily need to wear the sunglasses. But yeah, so that's the backstory. Yeah, so the reason why I doubt David Jr. attempted to stab D Mwango is because I've seen videos of D Mwango and David Jr. before, and these people love each other. Like the sibling love that is in between them is just extraordinary. So I highly doubt he would want to stab. Yes, I know that there are times that siblings might have you know, difference in opinions, arguments, fights, but with the kind of love they have for David Jr. to try and stab D, I super doubt it. I super doubt it. So yeah, the Italian guy's story on that doesn't necessarily add up. Now, let's go back to Ivain Tures. Ivain Tures also makes another video calling out Iam Marwa on his bullshit. Now, the person that I gravitated to believe more on this entire beef is Ivain Tures. And I remember Ivain Tures at the time when he hosted Iam Marwa in the USA. I remember him telling Iam Marwa how he's such a big name all over the world and how him having endorsements like would further strengthen his brand, right? And not necessarily just strengthen his brand, but also benefit him. And I remember Ivain Tures telling him, since you like or not a big fan of like clothes, you should actually try it. You should actually, since you don't like buying too many clothes, you should actually try to email the North Face. Yeah, you should actually try to email the North Face and tell them who you are, show them your body of work, and so that they can have you endorse their clothes, because this guy travels everywhere. Colombia, he's big in Colombia, he's big in Mexico, he's big in Africa. Well, Africa not so much. I think Wademar has Africa locked, but you understand. So Ivain Tures had a vision, and I remember commenting on that video, and I was like, yo, Ivain, if there's someone I've seen give Iam Marwa like proper advice, is you. And I remember they had even agreed they'd send the North Face an email or something of the sort. So I never, but even before that materialized, these guys had like a fallout at the time. But I could even see Iam Marwa, honestly, at the entire period Iam Marwa was with Ivain, Iam Marwa was being such an asshole, bro. Iam Marwa was being a fucking asshole. That one I agree, because I used to watch those episodes. And I think Ivain was just there kissing his ass and sucking his you know what, because I think he wanted his YouTube to pop at the time. And I think Ivain is a very patient motherfucker. Ivain is a very patient motherfucker, man. I won't go into all the details of what Ivain said, but you need to go to his video and you know, watch his expose on Iam Marwa. And this is not me shitting on Iam Marwa. This is like me telling you motherfuckers to go out there, watch this, watch all their videos, Iam Marwa's videos, Ivain's videos, the Italian guy's videos, and make a motherfucking judgment for yourself. But as for me, I'm like, why does everybody hate Iam Marwa?